you can hear me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you guys out there. I don't know what time zone you are in, but it is morning here in the EST, and it's very hot as well. So if you are somewhere where it's quite hot, I do wish you do something to cool down, because lately it's been such a heat wave here, and it's good to stay hydrated and stay inside, stay cool, stay. Ooh, there's a new chatter. The Closet Forge. Hello, welcome. I appreciate you stopping by, Closet Forge. Thank you. Yes, so we've just got started. I was supposed to start like 20 minutes ago, but unfortunately there was some technical issues. There were some technical issues, but it's okay. We are back here and we are ready to rumble. If you didn't know, this stream is for the reading challenge. So last month, July, was really hectic, and I went and I streamed every single day, every single weekday, and we wrote articles on stream live, and we talked about things, and we just finished summer camp together, which is NaNoWriMo, of course, summer camp, and also World Anvil summer camp. So we did end up reaching Diamond, which was awesome. Thanks to you guys helping to motivate me, and it was cool to chat and work while on stream. Oh, thank you so much for congratulating me on Diamond. How did you do during summer camp, Closet Forge, if you did choose to participate? We had World Anvil. The goal was 31 articles, and that reaches Diamond. And then we also have Camp NaNoWriMo, which you can choose any kind of word count you want to aspire to get, and as long as you make it, you win. So these camps are very flexible. They allow you to, choose which one. Copper. You made it to Copper. That's awesome. Congratulations. That is actually a great feat, because writing articles and making sure each one is 300 words is quite something to do. So Copper is good. You still did get a badge, and that's awesome. That means you wrote 8 articles that were great, and they had 300 words each. So very proud. Congratulations on that. Like I said, that's the good thing about these summer camps. They allow you to, do what you feel the need to do, or what you can do. They encourage you not to push yourself too hard, not to burn yourself out. As I said, with the Nano, you can actually go in and adjust your goal to what you want. But World Anvil, even though they have a set tiers, there's the first 8 is Copper. Then if you get 16, it's Silver. Then if you get 24, it's Gold. And then if you get all 31, it's Diamond. But that's still good, because they still allow badges. They have the different sections, so that no matter how many articles you complete, you will still probably win a badge, and you will still be proud of yourself. So you can select how far you want to go and what's realistic in your time frame and in your busy schedules in life, because us creatives usually do have lives even outside of our creative endeavors, and it's great to be able to work around that. So yes, congratulations on Diamond, and congratulations to all you guys. Even if you didn't, congratulations on Copper, Closet Forge, and all you that did reach Diamond, congratulations. Even if you didn't reach Copper, that's okay. As long as you had fun, as long as you wrote articles, as long as you did the things that you set out to do, and even if you didn't meet all of the goals you made, still be proud of yourself, because it's a lot. And we can only do it one step at a time. And once summer camp is over, that's not the end of the world. We can still write articles. If you want to still do the prompts, you can. If you want to work on something else, you can feel free to do that too. So that's the great thing about these creative things. You can do them on your own time, at your own pace, and still have lots of fun. But the reason why we are gathered here today is to read some of these articles for one of the prompt article templates that was outlined, and that one was a great leader. of their people. And that one is specifically very interesting to me because I did have the honor of sponsoring that prompt. The thing about it is, there's like 325 prompts up there that people have completed. And some of them might be, you know, a 404 error when I try to click it. It might be private or whatever. But if I'm just going to take it at face value and see that I have to read 325 articles, that's going to be a lot. And they want them judged by, I think, August 24th, 25th, something. It's gonna be here before we know it. So that's one of the reasons why I want to do some of them on stream, because it was a breeze doing summer camp on stream. So why not read on stream? So I did reach out to some of the authors to make sure that I have permission to read some of their articles on stream, and here I am. This first stream, we're going to read 4 articles, and those 4 are my own, which I do not qualify to win, of course. I'm not going to be biased and choose myself. June, and then we have Impetine by Ononomad. Ononomad, I believe that is. Hopefully I'm not butchering these names. I meant to get the pronunciations correct before I go on stream, but we're going to wing it. I apologize if I do anything wrong. Then we have King Rendorik by Lilliana Casper, I believe. Liliana or Liliana Casper. And then we have Lisbet Ryker by mirescosmo or mirescosmo. Hopefully I'm getting these right, but as I said, if you see that I'm mispronouncing it and you're here, or if you see it later and you want to correct me, feel free to do so. I'm by no means an expert at pronouncing these names, but we are going to get into it. The first one, of course, is my own, June. So, a little backstory on this. I am working in the world of Secret Agent Someone, so it's all about spies and lies and surprise and stuff. But yes, so there's lots of different agents here. The main character in most of the works that I write here is Secret Agent Someone himself. He's dubbed himself Someone Elsewood, and he doesn't want to tell anybody else his real name. But there are other spies as well, and operatives at Will-O-Wisp, which is the company that he works for. This in particular is kind of an Easter egg, kind of a cameo, fan interpretation article. So my mom loves BTS, and if you don't know, BTS is one of the hottest K-pop bands known to man at this day and age. And yeah, they have 7 members. So I created a little group of spies in Will-O-Wisp called Setnet, which is Korean for 3-4, which 3 and 4 together makes 7 because they are 7 members. And June is based off of Namjoon, or RM, which is the leader of BTS. So that's just a little nod to her because she loves BTS, so I just wanted to put them in the world of Secret Agent Someone. Warning, of course, this article is not done at all. I do not have cover art for it. As you see, it says work in progress still. The sidebar is not at length with the work, which is something that I like to do. We don't have anything by Commander McCox in the sidebar telling newbies the rundown, or if he's not there, usually I fill up the sidebar with something, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do that because I ran out of time, but I did still reach Diamond, but some of these articles are not complete, and that's the thing. A lot of times if you reach Diamond and you go quantity over quality, sometimes the articles do not appear to be, you know, pristine and perfect. But sometimes when you set a goal low and you try to just perfect those articles, you're able to write way more words in them, you're able to make them neater, doctor up the CSS, add art, and all that stuff. So it depends on however you choose to do it. I do know that after August, I can go ahead and neaten this up. But for now, it's going to be as is. So Jejun, a great leader of their people. So Jejun is the leader of Setnet. He is, and there's nothing there, which shows that I obviously forgot to do something here. Physical description, there's nothing there. Oh, well, it says apparel and accessories. He wears glasses sometimes. That's all I put. So like I said, this article is in no way finished at all. Employment, Jejun is currently an elite espionage agent at Will-O-Wisp, leader of Setnet group of spies, which is redundant because I just said that he's leader of Setnet up here. Okay, failures and embarrassments. This article, a bit of an embarrassment, but I'm reading it anyway. Though very suave and savvy, Jejun can also be clumsy and often breaks things on accident, including some of his spy equipment. When there are delicate artifacts to be recovered or protected, the members of Setnet suggest that Jejun not be the primary one responsible for its handling, in fears that he may unintentionally destroy them. That also needs to be claimed. I mean, destroy the item, not destroy them. I was like, that's not grammatically correct. But anyway, yeah. This is because Namjoon, or RM, is known for being very clumsy. So, that was a little... okay, intellectual characteristics. Jejun is known for being very smart and intellectual. He looks at things with an inquisitive mind and studies very hard every day. He enjoys reading, learning, and teaching others. He also knows several languages, primarily his mother tongue of Korean, and English as a second language. He is fluent in these and helps the other members of Setnet to learn words and terms in English as well. Personality and characteristics. Motivation. Jejun, though not the oldest member of Setnet, acts as an older brother to all the members. He is their leader and puts a lot of responsibility on himself for the success of his team and the well-being of his friends. Speech. Jejun is fluent in Korean and English and has the ability to mimic accents as applicable. Still, there is always a lingering hint of his true signature voice. So let's go to the sidebar. He's a species human. He's Mel. Jejun, like all the other Setnet members, changes his hair color often. Its original hue is extremely dark brown black. His aligned organization is Setnet, and his other affiliations are Will-O-Wisp. So, that's it. It's a very basic, very short article that needs a lot of improvement. So if I'm judging this one, it's not even qualified to win at all. But even if it was, I don't know. I might not choose it, probably because I'm just conscious of my own errors. But let's go ahead and move on to the next article. This is Impetine, hopefully that's right, by Ononomad. Ooh, they added art to their article. So let's see, aka the Risen Lord. Alright, let's see. This is quite a long article. I'm going to pull up my notes as well on these, which I should have been prepared, but I wasn't. Hopefully I have... what happened? Okay. I believe that I had some notes. I don't know if I had pronunciations in the notes. Alright, let's see. Okay. Alright, let's just read it. Alright, Impetine, known as the Risen Lord, is the first and only Lord of Fire, not to have originated from the Elder Avatars, who escaped their prison during the Mortugura incursion. She is a mortal Devilkin. Devilkin? Devilkin are peoples of Shadowfire. Okay. And was raised as a shroom farmer in the Stoneski drainage on the God's Swollen River. She came to prominence as one of the most popular of the resistance leaders during the latter stages of the Stone-Ski riots, and was responsible for their peaceful resolution of the long conflict and for brokering the deal that brought self-governance to her people. Tenets of faith. Impetine is followed as a shining example of honor, loyalty, and freedom. She is the protector and freedom fighter and the risen lord. Mental characteristics. Personal history. Childhood. Impetine was born to a small family of shroom farmers who lived in one of the many underground villages near the Stone-Ski drainage. Her parents had been devout followers of the Lords of Fire, having paid tribute to Porcolso, the builder, like so many other denizens of Stone-Ski. But this devotion had been severely put to the test during the years of the Stone-Ski riots that followed the destruction of the damnation and the influx of refugees that resulted from it. Her family did their best to help accommodate the refugees, and it was in this environment that Impetine was raised from a young age. Her parents tried to instill the traits of hard work and of building for a common good that formed the basis of Porcolso's popularity. But she also learned from the refugees in their midst of the violence and pain that the flaming brand had wrought against them. So, like Ononomad, the author of this article, told me, there's a lot of links to other things, so it's good to read them all kind of in a line. I should have put J. June's link here too, but I'm gonna put this here in the chat. So if you want to go check it out, do remember that this is an article by an Ambolite, and why is it not working? You can read the rest, and you can click the links that are there so that you can read the rest yourself and read the other articles that are attached to it that I don't have time to read right now. Where was I? Her parents tried to instill the traits of hard work and building for a common good that formed the basis of Porcolso's popularity, but she also learned from the refugees in their midst of the violence and the pain that the flaming brand had wrought against them. Resistance leader. As she grew, the Stone-Ski riots grew in intensity and regularity, and she was drawn to them like many a young agitator. She ran afoul of the brand a few times, but managed to escape any harsh retribution. However, she was popular among the resistance, and it did not take long for the forces under the command of Golchoros to try and make an example of her. She managed to escape and went into hiding in the many hidden caves that led from the Stone-Ski beneath the plains of Ardi Kokufa. This began her phase as guerrilla fighter against their oppressors, and her popularity grew still. It was the murder of her parents by the forces under Golchoros' command that pushed her to question her ways, the death being caused by the conflicts that had gone on, this is gone on, for nearly 30 years at this stage, prompted her to push for more peaceful resistance against the Lords of Fire. Diplomat and firebrand. Through her networks, she was approached by agents of Eukobis, which sought a permanent and peaceful end to the riots. It was this that set her on the path to becoming the first outsider to become a Lord of the Gleaming City. She snuck into the Gleaming City and sought audience with Eukobis, who secretly sponsored her through the fastest initiation into the Flaming Brand, including her successful bonding as a Clomerati symbiote. She then spent a further 10 years campaigning for peace, both within the Gleaming City and across the Stone-Ski, leading the decks controlled by Eukobis, while protecting her people from the ongoing incursions of Galchoros. The conflict became a stalemate and verged on instigating a civil war among the lords themselves. Themselves. So we need an S there. Throughout all this, Impetine had amassed adulation of her people and the admiring loyalty, I think they mean loyalty, of many of the brand, enough to power the generation of her own godling. It was then that Eucubus and Impetine both pushed for the diplomatic solution. Impetine went through her god tethering and became the first outsider to become a Lord of Fire in the Gleaming City. Okay, let's go to the sidebar. So she's a godling. She's currently located in the Gleaming City, and as I said, if you would like to check out some of these other articles, you can click the link in the chat because I don't have time to click all the links, but that's a good thing about world building. World Anvil has it set up where you can link other articles that will tell you more information about something. She's a Devilkin species. She lives in the Gleaming City, the realm of the Gleaming City. Her church or cult is the Lords of Fire. She was born in 2898, and she's 93 years old now. So if she's born in 2898 AD, that means this is a futuristic character. So she's actually hasn't been born yet. I saw this funny thing that George Jetson was born like a couple of days ago on July 31st, 2022. That's according to Hanna-Barbera wiki or whatever. So, you know, futuristic characters, it's funny when their birthday really does come in real life, and then, or like something happens in real life and we're like, wow, that was supposed to be the future, but now it doesn't feel like the future because we don't have flying cars and all that. So anyway, that's just a diversion. Sorry, I see there's a new person in the chat. First time chat. Bobicus. Hello, Bobicus. Welcome. Right now we are reading some articles for the. So these articles were created during summer camp, which was last month, and I am sponsoring a prompt called Great Leader of Their People. So this one is Impetine, and if you would like to read about her, because we're done now, you can go ahead and click this link in the chat. I will post it again just in case you missed it. And you can read through it as well. We were noticing how she was born in 2898 AD, which did not happen yet. And she's currently 93 years old, which means this world is even further in the future than that. Birthplace was in Stonsky Drainage. And guess what? I'm saying Stonsky so much. It might be Stone Sky. I think it might be Stone Sky. I'm sorry if I'm getting anything messed up, because these articles are really nice. Let's see. Female, golden eyes, bald scalp, heavily touched with gold, sun-touched markings, skin tone, dark bronze colored skin, heavily sun-touched and almost leathery, with markings of gold that glitters when hit by sunlight. 168 centimeters tall and 55 kilograms heavy. So this is her picture again. And according to the description that I just read, that picture is quite a good depiction of her. So to rate this article, for one, I feel like, yes, it was very detailed. They have lots of good art. The problem here, mainly, if we're just going on the formatting and like the wording and stuff, there were a couple of spelling errors, but that's okay. The main thing is the fact that there's a lot of words, like conlang words and words that don't really exist, that I know of, or they may be foreign language words. But whatever the case, if the average person reading it might not know how to pronounce it, it's good to add a pronunciation there. And a good tip is to put it in a tooltip. So like this, how it's bolded, you can just have it where when you mouse over it, a little thing pops up, kind of like this, but only not as big and not as detailed. It's just going to be a little bubble that pops up that says how to pronounce the word, because some of it I was feeling kind of weird because I don't know how to pronounce some of the stuff, but the good thing that will help with that is just adding a small pronunciation. And you don't have to do it every single time the word appears, but you could do it like the first time the word appears in the article, or either you could just put it in the sidebar. Because sometimes when words are hard to pronounce, it kind of takes the reader out of the world. When they could be immersed in the world and then they come across a word, they're like, what is this? And then they kind of just start getting a bit frustrated. But this wasn't too bad. This article was better than some. Some articles that I read, like the whole thing is conlang or filled with conlang and stuff like that, and it's very hard to just parse through it. And like if you're trying to read it out loud, you're just not gonna be able to do it. And if you try to read it even in your head, you can be getting taken out of the world because it's like too much that you're not able to pronounce, so you don't even like comprehend the information properly. So a good fix for that is just to add we're gonna suggest to add pronunciations in the article. And I won't bore you by showing the comment that I make online. I'm gonna move on to the next article, and this is King Rendorik by Lillianacasper. So first we're just gonna say great job with this article. I appreciate that you've written something. I can tell that the world is really, really deep, and the world it has a lot of lore. This person, who is a great leader of their people, I like the story how she, I guess when she was young, she was, going through a lot, and she saw the injustice, so she wanted to act, but then when something happened, she realized that maybe we don't want to be violent back. Maybe we should do this peacefully. And that's a great story of learning and growing. So I like how this story kind of followed through and taught us about the character and why she's a great leader of her people. It's very interesting also. This, like I said, there's a lot of intense world building being done here, and I feel like this world is very deep and it has a lot of lore. So, great job on that. Ononomad. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right away. And I don't know if I'm not, please let me know. But I have linked it in the chat, so if you would like to go check it out, go ahead and do so. And go ahead and check out Ononomad, if that is how they pronounce their name. And see other things that they wrote, because this one seems very interesting. Let's see. The next person is King Rendorik by Lillianacasper, or Lillianacasper. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. Ooh. So that you can read along, or there's going to be different things, maybe links to other things in the world that you might want to check out, and feel free to do so there. Alright, let's see. Already we see that they have art as well. This art is interesting. It looks almost like a painting. Alright, let's see. King Rendorik. Rendorik James Calleran. Calleran, I don't know. Mental characteristics. Personal history. King Rendorik was born to King Reuben and Queen Michela of Whirlin in 2020. So, this is another kind of futuristic character, because while 2020 was just 2 years ago, obviously this person lived all the way until 2054, so this is a futuristic world we're in, I guess. So let's see. His parents loved him, but focused mostly on ruling their kingdom and keeping their alliances with Crystalland and Tyrol. Not sure. 4 years excuse me. 4 years after Rendorik was born, his parents had a daughter, Cassandra. Rendorik loved her and always tried to protect her. He manifested as a destructor when he was 7. Although he learned how to control his power rather quickly, he often had difficulty restraining it. Between his studies and hobbies, Rendorik always managed. Now, let's see. Rendorik always managed to spend time with his sister, who had awful nightmares and was eventually revealed as a seer. Now, you see how when I mouse over this word, it tells me what a seer is? Because I'm like, what is a seer in this world? It says a gifted power that gives visions of the future to those who have it. So now we see that a seer is like a prophet or somebody who sees visions of the future. So that kind of thing is called a tooltip, and it would be great to have these like over something that might be hard to pronounce or something like that, so that it just pops up and lets you know how to pronounce it, or something that's like, what is that? Just like this, and it just kind of let me know what it was. And it doesn't have to be long at all. It just has to be just a little tiny little thing, a sentence or two, letting you know something that you don't know, so that you can kind of stay immersed in the world and not feel like you're totally out of the loop. Like, what am I reading? I don't even understand. But yes, that's a great one. Cassandra began having visions about Rendorik, but Rendorik tried to convince her that they were unfounded and wouldn't happen. His parents soon arranged marriage for him with Lavinia Niorsa, the daughter of 2 powerful nobles. After their wedding, Rendorik and Lavinia fell in love. So that was a prearranged marriage, but they still did fall in love after they got married. Cassandra was married to Isaiah Issachar, a young noble whose parents disagreed with the king and queen in 2040. She moved away, and Rendorik soon noticed that his parents, while popular with many nobles, had neglected the rest of their people. Shortly after Lavinia told him she was pregnant, the king and queen were poisoned by a servant. Rendorik and Lavinia took the throne, and their daughter, Laharika Calaron, was born in June. Oh, okay, sorry. I read that a little fast. So what it's saying is the king and queen, the original queen and queen, which was Rendorik's parents, were poisoned by a servant. Therefore, Rendorik and Lavinia, the new king and queen, took the throne, and their daughter, Larika, was born in June. Okay. Rendorik ruled wisely with his wife. Their people loved him. He had a good relationship with the rulers of Christland. Is it Christland? Did I say Crystalland before? I think it's Christland. Okay. He had a good relationship with the rulers of Christland and began to look into the restrictions on several types of gifted powers. So once again, there's a tooltip letting me know what gifted powers are. The wide range of gifted abilities that many humans possess. So, thanks for explaining that. Especially storming. Now, there's no tooltip there. I would like to know what storming is. I see that he realized that he was a destructor when he was 7, and his sister was a seer, so there's a little tooltip letting us know what a seer is. I would assume destructor has something to do with destroying something. Storming, what is that? Is it like controlling the weather somehow? I'm not sure, but I would like to know more about that. Laharika grew into Laharika, I'm not sure, grew into a brave little girl who manifested aquacity at the age of 5. And I would think that the root word being aqua might mean she has water powers? Not sure. An accident at Laharika's 7th birthday celebration caused extreme tension between Tyrol and Christland, with Rendorik and Werlin caught in the middle. Who was Werlin again? I saw that name before. I'll read back through. Okay. As Laharika's powers continued to grow stronger, Rendorik and Lavinia sought research that might help her control it. He contacted a Tyrolean noble by the name of Joachim Parentheses, who had done many studies about gifted powers. Shortly before meeting with the middleman, Lord Ephraim of Nicene, Rendorik and Lavinia threw a small party with several nobles. During the party, a group of rebels broke into the palace with the help of soldiers from the country of Delirn and massacred nearly everyone in the palace. Rendorik was killed in the fight along with his wife, and Delirn took over the kingdom. Oh man, that escalated quickly. Yeah, so sorry, some of it I stopped to pronounce it and stuff like that, but we're going to go to the sidebar now. Honorary and occupational titles, King of Werlin. Oh, I get it. Werlin is... Oh, Werlin is the kingdom that they were in. King Rendorik was the king of Werlin. So the reason why... the celebration caused tension between Tyrol and Christland. So since Rendorik was the king of Werlin, then he was caught in the middle of it. So I think that Christland is, yes, the other two kingdoms that their kingdom had an alliance with. Okay. Now it's understandable. I knew I saw the name. Okay. So he's the king of Werlin. He was born May 10th, 2020. He died November 2054. So AEA, I'm not sure what AEA stands for in this world. So it's probably like BC and AD. So I'm not sure, but I would like to know more about that. He was only 34 years old. And he was killed during the assassination of Blood. He was born in the Werlin Palace, and he died in the Werlin Palace. His family is the House of Kellern. His eyes are gray, hair brown, skin tone tan, height 5'10". Quotes and catchphrases. This is my country, but it's yours too. Fight for yourself. I mean, it might be like fight for yourself. Not sure how that's said. But yes, alright, we've completed that one. So look, this author did let me know already. Let everybody know. Please excuse the uneven sidebar. I was pressed for time. This guy is rather important, and I have a 3-page document about his entire life saved elsewhere. Wow. I would be interested in maybe reading that whole 3-page document. But yes. Now, I would say this sidebar is not too uneven. Yeah, this sidebar is actually not too uneven. I wouldn't have even noticed. It would be easy to just link an article here, or put a little picture placeholder here, or just add a little bit of information, a quote box or something there to make it even, but this isn't the worst of the uneven articles. Now, while Impetine was very detailed, as you notice, a lot of the body, you see how the sidebar cuts off here, and a lot of the body of the text keeps going. That's fine. But personally, I was going to make a note of that I like the sidebar to be even as well, so that it doesn't just look like, you know, a big block there. But still, it's great. That was an interesting article. That story kept me till the end, and yeah, that was good. Other than just maybe adding tooltips to the other gifts, such as Destructor and Storming or Quacity, and maybe adding some pronunciation guides. This was a pretty great article. So then we're going to do the last one, which is named Lisbet Ryker. And this one is by mirescosmo, I believe. And if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize once again. But we're going to go to the page. Ooh, once again, we have some nice art. Okay, so the only thing that I would like to say about all of these, because I see that they've all included art. The problem here, only the problem here, is that I'm wondering, like, who created this art? Is this a stock image? Is this, did you make it yourself? Same with this. It looks like a painting. Who made it? The same here. Looks like a nice, beautiful sketch. But who made these art pieces? So that's one of the things that I would want to know. Who made these? And one of the things the World Anvil likes to do is they say if your art is not credited, then they don't allow you to win, because they are trying to encourage their community to not, steal, I guess, credits. And if you made this, that's awesome. But I would love to see somewhere in the art and in the world. See, there's another picture of her. I would love to see somewhere in the world a note showing who made the article, because, who made the art for the article, because, like, if somebody else wants to go to that artist, that would be great. Hello, it's World Keymaster. Welcome. All right. Yes, I got started a little late, so we were about to end, but we're probably going to go 15 minutes over because I do have to read this last article, which is Lisbet Ryker. But I was just making a note about articles and their art. These articles had some beautiful art, but the problem here is that I don't know who made the art. So here's a tip. A tip would be to credit the artist, whether that artist be you or if it's someone else. Make sure you credit the artist. It doesn't have to be on the art itself, but put somewhere in the article, or at least somewhere in the world, in the footer, in the sidebar or something. Let us know who made the art, because that's one of the most important things we need to do. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Lisbet Ryker. Slyton Elisabetta Ryker. I guess that's her full name. Oh, this has some nice CSS with a little key here. Cute. Alright. History. Childhood. Lisbet Ryker wasn't born a bastard, but she may as well have been. No one in her immediate generation of Rykers had been born a Slyton, and her mother, Morgan, having been hopeful that the undesirable gene had simply weeded itself out of their noble house, abhorred the idea that her only daughter might carry such a stain on their family tree. But Lisbet was born a Slyton. I'm not sure what a Slyton is. It would be great to learn about it. Legally, it cast her down 2 notches of citizenship and threw her under the cruelty of the inheritance laws. In practice, this meant she was plucked from her mother's breast not 10 months after her birth, taken to a special practice in North Bjorgen under the careful hands of one of the most prolific surgeons of the time, a needle in her chubby arm and a small slice horizontal at the bottom of her belly, and sterilized. Oh. Stitched up, redressed, taken back to the manor, all the better. All better. Except it wasn't all better. Lisbet's father was running the house and also running the business, and also on the triadic council semi-running South Bjorgen. Her brother was at training, and then on the first train to Chambers when the war started, because he was their star child and held the promise of a paragon. That left her mother at home with her, tightening Lisbet's corset and then smoothing it down with her palm as though she feared someone might somehow see the tiny faded scar through the fabric and ivory, and screech across church that House Ryker was hiding a Slyton among their brood, as if House Ryker hadn't carried that gene in their bloodline for centuries. Several weeks after she first tried on the corset, she was 4, almost 5, her parents brought her with them to a salon at House Balazar. Their families were dear friends. See, went back centuries after, even before the Rykers' Slyton gene. They had salons often, and tea, and went to the theater together. And Lisbet's mother was also oddly close with Lord Balazar. but that was probably because Lord Balazar's wife wasn't too close with him, so Lisbet mostly ignored it. Oh, let's see. World Keymaster says, was there not a credit for the header at the end? Which article are we referring to? This one here? Oh, yes. Okay, I see. It says, unless otherwise stated, all content and maps have been created by and are copyright to the world author, Ononomad. Okay, that covers it. So hopefully that means that they did the art as well. So if you did, very good. That's a good job. That art really depicts the verbal description of the character. Let's see what King Rendorik said. All writing work belongs to me unless properly noted. All images are either done by me or are taken from the public domain. All others should be credited. The world header image was made by Eleni Lafond and used with permission. Oh, you're right. Good. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that is the credit of the whole world. I see it. Thank you for that eagle eye, World Keymaster. I did not notice that, but that's great. I am going too fast, obviously, because I thought that I scrolled down to the bottom, but you're right. All right, so great job, guys, for the credits. That's awesome that you put credits there. Anyway, let's see. So the children were shoved off to the side in a room akin to a sitting room, but with decidedly less fragile furniture, and that was when she met Jornan Balasar. They were close immediately, even though he was 2 years older than her. He brought up scars because his uncle had just recently grabbed his arm and given him one. Lisbet showed him hers, and he didn't tell anyone. Afterward, they were attached at the hip, every chance they got. Lisbet's mother even sent her to the Balazars so the children could be tutored together, though Morrigan stopped coming with her after a few years. Then the footman would just drive Lisbet over in the morning and be there to pick her up when Morrigan wanted her back. Sometimes Lisbet ended up sleeping over the Balazars for several days. When Jornan was 8, he began military training, and Lisbet got her own governess, which was fine. Jornan liked military training because he didn't have to be at home with his mother and uncle, and occasionally his father when the man stopped by. Lisbet hated the governess and everything that came with her. At 13, in the last year of the Great War, her brother came back in a leather bag. It was lovely leather, and it had the Ryker sigil on it, and Lisbet got all the settlement for her dowry, but it put a thorn of a thought in her brain that someone else she loved dearly might leave her for the war and die. So unfortunately her brother passed away in the war, but now she's worried about Jornan going to the war. Later that month she enlisted herself. She went up to Jornan's uncle, the one who gave him the first scar and had given him 3 more since, and who also sometimes weirdly put his mouth on Lady Balazar's neck and asked if he would make sure she ended up in Jornan's unit. Let's see, it's Dream Cartographer. Hello! We're almost at the end of this article here. Oh yes, glad you get to catch the tail end. This one is a quite long article and does have some trigger warnings in it, but we're almost done with it. Alright, she did end up in his unit, thankfully, and then suddenly they were spending all their time together again. They both moved into the barracks, and the only time they weren't together was when Lisbet had Slyton training, which was a substantial amount of time, but still. Now, still, I don't know what a Slyton is. I would like to know what a Slyton is. School. When Lisbet was 15, Jornan started courting a girl. She was lovely, but it meant that Lisbet was bored at the balls, so she started seeing a boy. Then another boy, because the first was too young. Then a girl, because the second boy bored her. Then, Jornan was still seeing the same girl, and perhaps even falling in love with her. And then he said he thought he might marry her. Uh-oh. She had a crush on him. It ended up working out because that spring they were to be put into separate units anyway, for Lisbet to finish out her Slyton training and for Jornan to be promoted. Instead, they both put their military careers on hold. Jornan married and began fighting his uncle for the House Balazar's assets and property, and Lisbet went to school. The decision was a bit last minute. She knew she didn't want to go home, and she didn't want to stay in the military, but she was smart. She'd excelled at Slyton training, and Yseult offered her a full scholarship, so why not get away from the Confederacy for a few years? It proved to be a sound decision, albeit an abrupt one. Lisbet loved Etheris. She loved Yseult. She loved not being toted around by her parents and her mother looking disdainfully at her belly when they went in public, as though she still wanted to smooth it out. Jornan wrote her nearly every other week with updates. The southern coast is even lovelier than I remember, though the sand does make for quite a gritty lovemaking. I got the house. Just received the letter this morning. We just returned to the city. Father is sick. He didn't admit it, but Professor Leidvelt let it slip when I visited Brickard. Lisbet, you were right. Uh-oh. It has some cursing in the article. Alright, let's skip some of these. Alright, he's saying that he misses her. He wants her to come for the winter break. Let's see. She took a last-minute decision to take the next train back to Chambers and stop at the orphanage because she got some news that a child there may be related to her. So Jornan had a son, and she picked up her niece from the orphanage, and he wanted her with him. But Lisbet didn't want to leave her new niece or daughter. She liked the idea of him going off without her, even less than she had before. So Jornan moved up the chain of command. Let's see. Jornan worked hard. Lisbet worked slightly harder. He was fighting the Triadic, trying to change the entire military relations between Slyton and common soldiers. It was for Lisbet, really, because with the way it was now, she couldn't rise any further in command chain with him. But Jornan told her it was for the entire system. Any Slyton as brilliant as you should be able to work their way up. To be fair, Lisbet agreed wholeheartedly. Lisbet, on the other hand, was doing the actual strategy work, figuring out how to more effectively use Slyton in battle alongside common soldiers. It was a slow start because she was a Slyton, a woman, and she was also apprehensively looking for a husband. She ended up taking on more of the command, at least in practice, than she initially intended. Jornan and his wife were trying for another baby, and his wife Ophelia, oh wow, she was doing a little bit of self-harm because they couldn't have their baby. She was, let's see. They kept training. They went back and forth. The battles would subside. They would return to the city, and then violence would bubble up again. Then her parents died. Her mother mere weeks after her father. Though Lisbet was certain they no longer loved each other at that point, if they ever had. Alright, she rode back to the city to fight the court for her inheritance. It was a long forgotten wound being ripped open anew. They said, you cannot carry a bloodline, so the inheritance goes to the Confederacy coffers. It didn't matter that she had a daughter. So I guess since she couldn't actually have children because she got sterilized at an early age, then they didn't want to give her what she was owed. But she went to Jornan's uncle again. Alright, she went back to the surgeon. Alright, she got married to a nobleman and a major in her division, and he knew she was close with the governess. Alright, then she got the inheritance. So I guess she went back to the surgeon so that he can undo the sterilization? So then she was able to give him children. They agreed to marry after the wars had subsided. The battles calmed temporarily, time passed. Lisbet got married. Alright, she was on her wedding tour when she felt she felt through her blood bond with Jornan that Jornan was in trouble. She rushed back up to the border. She began to suffer from arcana poisoning. She took several years off and gave birth to 2 children, Adara and then Gannon. They were perfect and they looked just like her. If Jornan envied her for it, he said not a word. So then she returned to the army for several more years. She was the army's first slightened lieutenant of the high commander. But she was still poisoned. So her mind and body were beginning to succumb to the stress. Alright, let's see. Oh wow. Okay, so one of her children, I guess, went to the army, and the daughter passed in the army. She didn't tell anyone before she went to Jornan. She said goodbye to her children and husband. So then she went and ended it for herself. Oh wow. Alright, so that was quite a long article. Once again, the body of the article was longer than the sidebar. But it does have some nice art here. I do have some questions. Oh, the art does have a little, this is by Midjourney. And then it has some related articles. I feel like there could be more related articles in the sidebar to extend it, or since the sidebar is very long, you could either put art there, or what we can do is, if you have, I think is a master account on World Anvil, one of the accounts, as long as you have a paid membership, you are able to use CSS. So if you do not, if you're a journeyman, I believe it's a free account, so you can't do it. But if you, I believe they're able to use CSS because they've done this little key thing for their codex, which is cute. But if they're able to do that, I believe that you're able to make your sidebar static sidebar, which means when you're scrolling, even though it ends, it doesn't go further. And you can still keep scrolling this side, and this won't keep scrolling. I can show you an example of that here. Let's see. Let's see. First mission. Alright, so this is one of my articles that I have. You see how the article is very long, but when the sidebar, when I scroll, the sidebar stays static here. It can be called a static sidebar or a sticky sidebar. So it scrolls on its own. And you see the sidebar is very short. But even though the words are very long here in the body of the article, the sidebar doesn't look out of place because it stops with you. So that when you're scrolling, it doesn't, there's not a big gap of nothing on the side. Yeah. World Keymaster says you can also use the full width footer. I usually try to do. CSS for me is complicated, so complicated. Yes, it is. It's very complicated. But you're right. Like you see right here after this part right here, she could have just taken this stuff, all this, and then put it in a full width footer. So after this point right here, then all of this would just be also under the sidebar. You're right. That's a great other hack you can do instead of using CSS if you're not able to, or if it's too complicated, or if you don't have the free account. I mean, if you have a free account, you can still make it even by adding the full width footer, which will just basically make it where after this part cuts off, the rest continues, and that would be a nice one. Yeah, I think the only problem with that would be on mobile. It might be broken up by the sidebar, I'm thinking. But it's still a good fix for it to look great on desktop. But yes, anyway, all that aside, we are over time, so I'm going to finish up by reviewing this article. Yes, this article had quite a few trigger warnings. It's a lot of words, but it was a deep story. I appreciate how she went into detail with it, and instead of just making the article like a Wikipedia page, just telling about the person and, you know, this is how tall they are, this is so-and-so, whatever, they went into more detail like a story, and it kind of just became like a little chapter of a book, kind of, just showing the life from beginning to end, which was interesting. One of the things that I would like to know more about is what is a slighten in this world. That could have been tooltipped as well. We talked about tooltips earlier where you can hover over it and it just has a little thing, or you could put in parentheses what a slighten is or something, or you could put it in the sidebar. That can help you extend the sidebar as well. Other than that, I mean, the choice of wording and the choice of subject matter is all up to the author, of course. But yeah, it does have trigger warnings. I would advise to put trigger warnings on the article as well. The author did tell me personally that there was a few trigger warnings here in the article, and that the article was quite long. But the good thing is, the good thing that they can do is in the sidebar put a trigger warning up there, like at the top of the article, like right above the picture or something like that. Yeah, so other than that, I think that this was pretty nice. It was very interesting, and yeah, I will go through and read some more of it as well. I think I already linked it in the chat. I will link it again so you guys can go to it if you want to read the rest of it as well. Yeah, so World Keymaster says, good article with a good story. Now I wish the one I submitted was not of the ones I had to hurry. And good story in the sense that it conveys the emotions in a good way. That's right. So, yes, so that was like a story. Like I said, it wasn't like in a Wikipedia article. It was like a story. It had a good art here. It has CSS there. And CSS is not everything, of course. I'm just noticing the interesting CSS that they have here in their world. But like I said, the main thing here is just the sidebar here, and also there were some words that I wasn't sure how to pronounce. That would be great to have tooltips or a little tip to pronounce the words, and also some of the phrases I was not familiar with in the world, like what is a slighten, stuff like that. So yeah, other than that, yes, for design and for interesting level of interest, the story that evoked emotions, it was pretty nice. And yeah, so those were all the articles that we were going over today. We went over Impetine by Ononomad, which, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, please let me know. King Rendorik by Lillianacasper, and Lisbet Ryker by mirescosmo, or mirescosmo. Thank you guys once again for joining me. This was very fun. We just went through some articles. Now, Tuesday, which is tomorrow, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to read quite a few articles, and it would be great if you guys could join me. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, be sure to stop by if you'd like to, and we will read a lot of different articles. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 articles. All right, and then lastly, this week on Saturday, I plan to read 5 more articles, and that will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So thank you guys once again for joining me, and yeah, these articles that I read today, besides Jeju, were not written by me. They were written by others, and I am trying to make sure that I figure out which one I'm going to choose to win the prize. And it's gonna be hard, obviously, because there's 325 of these, and I only just did 3 just now. So, if you would like to join me again tomorrow evening, evening my time, it may be morning for you, I'm not sure. Be sure to follow my channel so that you can get a notification when I go live. And thank you guys so much, everybody, for joining me. And you guys have a blessed day, night, afternoon, evening, whenever it is. Happy time zone to you guys. And thank you. Much love. God bless.